Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Let me tell you something. Robert Garcia feels bad for Serheii Bohachuk. I'm telling you, Robert Garcia was a fighter. And although the cards were in his favor last night, Secret Society hooked up his boy, Virgil Ortiz. Robert Garcia, deep down, he's not about that. Glad to see Virgil get a win, get a title at 154, second weight division. But he knows that Virgil Ortiz lost that fight. Now, when you're talking about Bohachuk and Virgil Ortiz, and look, that was a hard fight. A lot of people are saying that was fight of the year so far. But what I will tell you is I think Virgil Ortiz took so much damage that even when he returns, he wasn't the same in this fight as he was at 147. And I don't think he'll be the same in his next fight at 154 because Bohachuk took a pound of flesh out of him. But anyway, the question now is what's going to happen? What does Bohachuk do next? What does Ortiz do next? Now, Robert Garcia, this is what I say. He feels bad for Serheii. I know when Robert Garcia is there at home with his wife or whoever, talking to someone who's not affiliated with boxing, I know what he's saying. He's like, look, man, they robbed Bohachuk. We got the win, but they robbed him. They robbed him. But what can I do? What can I do? I know that it's just wrong. It's wrong. But, you know, Virgil, I'm glad he got the win. But he lost that fight. He lost that fight. I know that's what he's saying. But this is the thing. Terrence Crawford and Virgil Ortiz seems to be the direction that the Ortiz ship could be traveling. But Terrence Crawford, like Canelo, he's kind of in a position where Crawford can do what the hell he wants. Okay? He's got the money machine or the cash cow, right? Turkey al-Sheikh, the angry bird now. It's an angry turkey. He's got him in his back pocket. So I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford says, I don't want that fight. And I'm telling you, Robert Garcia, he's even said, look, Ortiz fought hard, he trained hard, he deserves some time off. Now I'm paraphrasing, right? He said, but that fight last night was very, very violent. Okay? And what he even went on to say is when it comes to Bohachuk, he feels that Bohachuk deserves a rematch. Now, I'm going to tell you this. There's no one else over there on Virgil Ortiz's side that's talking about Bohachuk deserving a rematch. You know what I'm saying? No one in the world. Now, the other thing, when Robert Garcia talks about Terrence Crawford, he goes on to say that he's a great fighter and pound-for-pound one of the best in the world. Okay? And he did say, looks like they're interested in that Crawford fight. But if for some reason the fight can't be made, right? Because he knows Crawford is big money, and he got the right man in his corner to bankroll the boxing matches that Terrence Crawford wants. But he says if for some reason that fight doesn't come to fruition, Crawford and Virgil Ortiz, he said he believes Bohachuk deserves a rematch. He was like, you know, it's something they would consider. But and this is where him saying it was a great fight, it was a close fight. You know, so if the offer's there and Crawford's not available, then why not the rematch? When he says that, I said, this man feels bad for Bohachuk. Because if it was me and we were able to kind of, you know, have our hands in the cookie jar and get all the cookies out, every single cookie, because that's what they did last night. We caught their hands in the cookie jar, and they still got away with all the goddamn cookies. I wouldn't at all be saying a damn thing about Bohachuk. I just say great fight, and that's it. But the fact he keeps talking about it, tell me he got a guilty conscience. he goes on to say how Bohachuk fought his ass off. He came in and surprised the world. That's because Robert Garcia was a fighter. He knows what that shit feels like to get jerked. And even though he's training, he wants his guys to get the wins. Deep down as a fighter, and you can tell he got some good in him. I ain't saying he won't come out there and manipulate some gloves and shit, but when it comes to someone to just be absurdly robbed like that, Robert Garcia is he could tell he feels for Serheii Bohachuk. Plus, remember, Robert Garcia knows what it's like to be, first generation American over here. Parents coming from Mexico having to go out there and, pull them cherries and grapes or whatever else they were doing out there in those fields. And to have an American dream crushed like that or stolen from you. Robert Garcia could understand all that, and Bohachuk, being from Ukraine, there's a war over here, young family, just won a title. He did not have to fight Virgil Ortiz. Fought him anyway, and turned down big money to go fight Tim Tszyu over there overseas. Now, I think Turki Al-Sheikh had everything to do with him not taking that fight over there, because you listen to Turki Al-Sheikh now and how he talked like Tim Tszyu, he's not working with him. That tells me that something happened. But I think Turki Al-Sheikh kind of, persuaded Bohachuk to go do something different. But anyway, I ain't here to talk about that. I'm talking about Robert Garcia. I think Robert Garcia really knows what it's like to somewhat achieve the American dream, but to have it to see it taken away from him like that. I'm sure Robert Garcia doesn't like it. But anyway, I could be wrong. He may not give a shit. But the fact that he's talking about a rematch, that tells me, and not a unification, that tells me that he feels a kind of way. He really feels a kind of way about it. But anyway, man, we're going to see what happens. Ortiz is with Golden Boy, and they got another guy in the stable, Charles Conwell. He could be fighting Ortiz as well. So they got some options. But I just think Terrence Crawford destroys Virgil Ortiz, especially after he just got the shit beat out of him by Bohachuk. I think Tim Tszyu will tranquilize him, but they won't make that fight. Charles Conwell may be a much safer bet, but there's no money there. And I think they realize with Ortiz, time is ticking. They don't know when he's going to have another flare-up with that rhabdo, and they need to get him in while they can. Strike while the iron's hot and get him some money. But I just think Ortiz is in a horrible spot. If he rematches Bohachuk, he loses again. And they can't jerk Bohachuk on the scorecards again. If he fights Terrence Crawford, he loses there. If for some reason Turki Al-Sheikh changes his mind and is like, hey, Ortiz and Tim Tszyu, he's going to lose there. I just think Ortiz is up shit creek with no paddle. And I like Ortiz. And I keep telling y'all, when Ortiz was at 147, when I saw what he did to Hooker, and I saw what he did to Kavaliauskas, I said this guy would beat Terrence Crawford, and he would beat Earl Spence Jr. And everybody came down on me. Hood champion, screw you, hood champion, you don't know nothing about boxing. And then the idiots were like, oh, man, we looking at you, man. You ain't a brother. How you going to say that this Mexican cat would beat Crawford and Spence? First of all, I'm a human being just like they are. I don't get caught up in this color shit. That's you all. I wasn't raised like that, my man. I see human beings. I deal with people off mentality, not the color of their skin. Plus, we're talking boxing, so why would I not speak what I feel about two boxers? I don't give a goddamn. Yeah, the guy is a goddamn rainbow unicorn. I care less. What are they doing in the ring? But right now, where Ortiz is now, nah, man, I don't think he goes very far at 154. It's unfortunate for him, man. I mean, the rhabdo took something out of him. It is what it is, people. Robert Garcia got him in the best shape he could. Like, there was nothing else they could have done for Virgil Ortiz, and he still wasn't able to rise to the occasion against the crazy Ukrainian. Still couldn't get the job done. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Robert Garcia feels bad for Serheii and says, look, definitely Serheii deserves a rematch. Fought his butt off. Man shocked the world. If it's no Crawford, then I think Bohachuk is the optimal choice. And you know what? Do the right thing. I think so too. Keep cool. Shout out to all 7 continents. You know I'm in the breeze.